I guess one of the first reasons why I'm pro-life is because as long as there's life, there's hope. And besides that, my Father in heaven is the giver of life. And since I'm his son, I'm duty-bound to obey him regardless of how unpopular it may be to some. But before I go any further, I want to go on record saying how grateful I've always been that I was born before 1973, when the Supreme Court justices made the radical ruling that it was perfectly okay to terminate the life of the most innocent and defenseless ones among us. Because I'm convinced that since I was born to a mother and father that weren't committed to each other or me, my life would have ended right after it began in some abortionist filthy trash receptacle, and I would have been counted as just one more dead black baby among the 16 million whose lives have been trashed since that fateful ruling in January of '73. For the majority of my life, I can't say I hated my mother. She just didn't exist in my mind. You see, if my mother walked across the street in front of me right now, I wouldn't recognize her because I've never seen her. My understanding is that after she found she was pregnant with me and a second mouth to feed, and apparently feeling overwhelmed at the prospect of that thought, she gave me, or more accurately, dumped me off on some people with the promise to return, but never did. Those people then handed me off like an unwanted house pet to some more people, and they passed me off to some others, and by the time of age 10, I lived in 5 different homes. That picture of me in the hospital bed is one of the homes where I ended up contracting tuberculosis. The other picture is me with me crying with my pants wet. Obviously, I had spilled something on them. That was from another home. During my teen years, after the realization hit me that what she had done, I struggled with it at times, and although by now I had been shipped to another state, I realized she could have easily contacted me through extended relatives, but for whatever reason chose not to. And since she had no need for me, I had no need for her. Through my youthful imagination, at times I envisioned myself growing up and becoming a huge success, and then one day tracking her down and rolling up on her in a stretch limo wearing bling on both hands and a big gold rope hanging from my neck, and in so many words saying, "How you like me now?" But after I gave my life to Christ, almost 30 years later, I found myself moving closer to being able to put the past in the past, and had made the decision to try to locate her. But as fate would have it, just about that time, word came to me through one of those extended relatives that she was dead. And that was that. So many unanswered questions about my life would have to remain unanswered. But if I ever did get a chance to meet my mother, I already knew exactly the words I'd say. I wouldn't ask her how or why. I wouldn't ask her in her quiet moments, did she ever think about me? Did she ever wonder if I was dead or alive, or if I was being abused, or if I was incarcerated, or what I looked like as a grown man, or if I made it to adulthood? Fortunately for me, the Lord, the life giver himself, had resolved all those issues. And by now, because of his grace, I had grown to the point where I was able to simply look at her with eyes full of compassion, wrap my arms around her and whisper in her ear, "Thank you. Thank you for not taking my life." Because although abortion wasn't legal in 1958, it was still an option she could have chosen. So I'd thank her for giving me a chance at life, and for giving God a chance to turn a messed up situation into a marvelous one. The fewer the abortions, the better. I stand with the forgotten women.